Wow, what a day in the markets. Everything is soaring. The market is more bananas than my shirt is. Bitcoin made a big move and altcoins, they are popping hard. This video will break down some of the technicals that are showing that it may just be time to release the bulls. And let's start off with the weekly charts for Bitcoin. I think looking at the weekly gives us a nice macro longer term trend of what's going on in the crypto markets. We seem to have made a very definitive step out of the downtrend that we have been in since July, crossing back above that trend line. Painting another candle above that trend line would be very strong indeed. Then we have the golden cross on the weekly. The 50 and 100 moving average has just hit a golden cross on the weekly Bitcoin charts. That is, of course, very bullish as a longer term indicator. And that, by the way, also ushered in the start of the trend that resulted in the 2017 bull madness. So you can think about the impact that had when that indicator played out. Then taking a look at the volume, we have seen a massive surge of people piling into the market, with the 24-hour volume being 163% higher than the 30-day average has been. Looking at the MACD on the weekly, we are on the verge of flipping to the green on the MACD and nearly hitting the MACD trigger on the weekly as well. The last time this happened was February 2019, which, if you remember, was the start of a very bullish trend. Then, of course, we can look over at the RSI, which has just switched over to a bullish divergence as well. Then we can take a quick look at a very important indicator over on the daily chart, the 200 EMA. Bitcoin solidly broke out past the 200 exponential moving average on the daily. It has happened twice in the last year. Happened once in April 2019 when the mini bull action kicked off in a big way, and after the China pump in November. Now, zooming in a bit, we can see that Bitcoin took a few days to crawl over that 200 EME, but wow, once it broke through that line, there was, of course, a massive spike in price, putting us well and truly over that line and back into the bullish zone. Now we just have to stay there. That's the trick, of course. From here, a key zone to keep your eye on is 10K. I think that'll be a very, very big level to move across for Bitcoin because of the, psychological barrier around it, not to mention, of course, all of the previous resistance that we have had around that area. Now let's take a look at the greed charts. Today it hit 56, which is nearly 20 points higher than the start of the year just 2 weeks ago. But to be honest, 56 is still relatively neutral. Lots more room for greed in this market, without a doubt, which means that we might still have a lot of room for the markets to run before things start topping out even locally. But overall, we are seeing a picture where the long time frames are starting to all flip green, and that the sentiment of long-term investors towards Bitcoin is shifting considerably to the positive, with all of these indicators showing that the market is regaining strength. Now, some are saying that the halving hype is what is pushing the new excitement in the markets. Some have pointed to the recently released CME options for Bitcoin. Boring. Or perhaps it was just that time for a bit of fun again in the markets. Now look, I honestly don't think that the wider crypto market cares very much about Bitcoin options at the CME. Although, we can't totally discount those big institutional players, because we've seen a recent survey from Bitwise. So basically they said more financial advisors are eyeing crypto for their clients in 2020. They spoke to a total of 400 financial advisors, and a whopping 13% of them, or maybe a small percent, whether way you look at it, said they already have crypto allocations in their client portfolios or are very likely to add them in 2020. Another factor worth mentioning here, of course, is that the Federal Reserve just can't stop throwing money all over the place. It is now considering lending cash directly to hedge funds and private brokers through clearinghouses to ease the stress in the repo market. I mean, hey, if the rate cuts didn't work, and if the overnight repo bailouts to major commercial banks didn't work, and if the endless supply of nearly free money to these commercial banks and institutions didn't fix the problem, then let's just throw some more free money at it and see if that fixes the problem of free money. Craziness. The repo market is on shaky ground overall, which of course just provides more reason for people to go out and buy Bitcoin. But again, I don't think that was the reason we saw a big price spike for Bitcoin today. And while the crypto markets may not care much about things like the CME or the likelihood of more financial advisors pushing crypto onto their clients, what the crypto markets do certainly care about is the Bitcoin halving. Now, does the positive momentum of all these charts mean that we're gonna go to the moon tomorrow? No, it does not. This is positive momentum. This is good. The charts are looking great. And we are all set for a pre-halving hype run. Will it hold post-halving? Time will tell, of course, but any post-halving correction, and there's likely to be one when people realize that this was just a lot of anticipation for a relatively non-exciting event, but that correction will probably be short-lived. Personally, I'm still expecting no new all-time high until after the halving. But I do know one thing. Stacking sats at these prices is going to pay off very well in the coming years. Stack, sats, and chill. That's all you gotta do. Now, over on the altcoin front, things are looking very interesting as well. Bitcoin dominance took a big tumble today, allowing altcoins really just a moment to breathe. And most hit double-digit gains in the last 24 hours. Some like Dash and Bitcoin Satoshi Vision even hitting triple-digit growth this week. Now with Dash, it's probably on the release of the long-awaited Evolution testnet. That might be what's driving the hype there. With BSV, we might see it being resulting in the claims that Craig Wright has the Satoshi keys. We'll break that down a little more in a minute. But in looking at the overall altcoin market cap, we have just broken out of a long-term downtrend, increasing nearly $20 billion in just a day and seeing a gain of around 27% just for the day of the total altcoin market cap, which is crazy gains. Now, if it holds, this may prove to be a very bullish turning point for the altcoin market, meaning that we may see altcoins consistently making bigger gains than Bitcoin in the coming months. Now, if we to assume that Bitcoin does not reach its all-time high before the halving, then we are looking at a max of 100% gains for Bitcoin, which is, hey, that's great. Totally take that. But altcoins in this scenario, they're going to be pulling 1,000% gains. Small caps probably much more than that. But with that being said, this market is still an insane Wild West. I mean, just stop to consider the insanity. That Bitcoin Satoshi Vision hit number 4 on CoinGecko today. Da Fook, man! Part of the excitement around BSV over the past few days has been this. Craig Wright notifies court Satoshi keys have arrived. According to the article, Wright notified a Florida court that the key slice has arrived that will enable him to unlock the Satoshi wallets with around $10 billion worth of Bitcoin sitting in them. Craig said that a third party has provided the necessary information to unlock the encrypted file. This is the so-called Tulip Trust. The million Bitcoin, or approximately a million Bitcoin of Satoshi was reportedly locked in the trust using the Shamir's secret sharing algorithm, with the keys divided into different slices. The slice was given to a bonded courier who was to turn up 10 years later. Well, you know what? 10 years just passed. And apparently, the courier, or some courier anyway, actually turned up. Wright will have until the 3rd of February to produce the keys for the court and to prove that he is Satoshi and has access to the Bitcoin. A lot remains to be proven here. But if he does produce the keys, oh man, that would definitely change the game big time. That being said, all of this could just be a ruse to pump the price of BSV. Really, nothing would surprise me with Craig Wright. And in fact, I think that this may be more likely that it's just some kind of new theater event. Remember, no evidence has been submitted to the court yet. And a lot of voting accidents can happen between now and the 3rd of February where you can just mysteriously lose your keys. Anyway, crazy times. But I want to know, what do you think? Did Craig actually get the keys to prove that he is Satoshi? Will your opinion of Satoshi change if it does turn out to be Craig Wright? Or do you think that this is just some more theater designed to pump the price of BSV? And how are you feeling on the markets overall? Are you bullish? Do you think these indicators are showing that we are indeed getting ready for some moon time? Let me know down below. And of course, thank you guys for watching. Seriously, this is not possible without you. You personally, not the other dude watching, but you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to come here and watch this video and listen to this dude talk about cryptocurrencies on the internet. Remember, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to click that subscribe button. It only takes a second, and then you can stay up to date with all of the fun stuff happening in crypto land. And if you did enjoy this one, hit that thumbs up button. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.